But beautiful day out here, snow coming down, really pretty. Got the zombie buck back over here. He was out last night. Don't know what was going on, but every morning he's back, so that's good news. Gonna head out, gonna try to plant a food plot and do some additional habitat work tomorrow with the neighbor. So going out and do some planting. All right, I'll stop here for a second. That's a great alfalfa field. Challenge is you can probably see a box stand right there. It's also the property line. That's where we stopped to clear the tree. We're gonna head up the trail and clear the other tree up here. All right, I want to stop here. Another savanna opens up to about 1,000 yards that way. Maybe not quite. Heck of a deer trail right here. We're able to see the deer stand off to the left. Straight ahead up in that thicket through that open woods is where they bed. And off to the left here. So there's the stand. Right straight through there is a gully. That's deep. Everybody thought I should have put the stand up on top of this hill, but I wanted these stands to be bow stands also. And I had two beautiful 8 and a 10 come right through that opening. I've got a mock scrape right there. I'll let you see that. And then off to the right, you probably can't tell, but that drops down very deep. So they don't like to go up there. There's my mock scrape and my lick sticks. Bedding back there, bedding back there. And boy, this is new from yesterday when we did the work out here. Some deer bed. All right, we'll walk back up the hill. Boy, this turned out nice. All right, I stopped here. If you look over my left shoulder, there's a number of beautiful white oak back there. Scattered in is a whole bunch of cherry. So I'm gonna take those out. I'll let you watch me cut them. Love that ting, ting, ting. Beautiful snow coming down. All right, this area in back, I should say in front of me that you're looking at, this was an area on the property that had a lot of ash. Probably 40 ash trees. We got after a lot of them before they died and cut them down. And I'm really getting some nice stump sprouts. But you can see it really opened up that back there. And it's probably 3 acres in size. So I think this might be a good opportunity to walk into here, check some of this out. Here's one of the ash trees that was just taken down. Here's one of the stumps. Oh, that's not a stump. Oh yeah, right there. That one must have died. This one, boy, look at the new growth coming up. So if you got ash trees on your property, the emerald ash borer is here. So that means your ash trees are going to die. It's hard to say, but that's what it's going to be. So what I would suggest is you get out here like I did, you cut them all down and they'll stump sprout. The emerald ash borer can't get at them then. And the deer just love these new sprouts in here. So here are 3 examples of the new stump sprouts coming out of these ash trees that we got after early. Identified there was the emerald ash borer on the property, and then we just cut them all down. And that was tough, but I think that was the right decision because I'll have these ash trees coming up. Also back there you can see some look like red oak, pin oak that are coming up. There's one giant maple tree back there that's kind of cool. Another giant maple tree back there. There's some Scotch, very tall Scotch pine mixed in. But as you can see, it's really thick. And just in the last few hours, because it just started snowing, got a lot of deer activity in this area. What I wanted to take a look at in here is this open area. It's probably 100 yards there to the other side. Got a nice deer trail that goes back in here in this very thick area and these beautiful white pine. I don't know how old those must be. Those could be getting close to 100 years old. But this open area, I want to try to figure out what to do with this. It's near the property line. So the property line, looking straight ahead there, is about 200 to 300 yards. Let's call it 250 yards that way. Property line that way is about a mile. And the property line that way is about a mile. The property line that way is about a mile. Looking at that property line that's 250 yards away, that's an agricultural field. So that's soybean, that's corn, that's potatoes. They rotate. For sure there will be there'll be two of the three out there this year on that giant field they planted in quarters. But I've got this open area, and then I've got this great bedding area back in here. It's kind of a sanctuary. So I've been a reluctant food plot guy. I have never put one in. I don't know what I'm doing. I've watched some videos on a poor man's food plot where you come in here, mow it down with my garden tractor, clean it up, herbicide it, get it all killed, rough it up. So I've got to figure out what I want to do in here. How much of this am I going to open up? And I think the goal is to keep it small, keep it as kind of a staging area that the deer can come in during the daylight before they go out in the agricultural field off that way. And I can set up right in that corner, up in those two white pine with a nice ladder stand. I'll probably keep this very narrow here. I'll let it widen out and give the deer all the reason to come out of this bedding area that's all around it. I think what we're going to do is we're going to open this up a little bit to get the sunlight to be able to come down, because those trees are on the south border. So if I take a few of those down, that's going to let the sunlight come in. I'll use the trees to kind of set up a barrier so I can sneak in and out of here without being seen, and hopefully sneak out. And again, the goal of this little food plot is going to be daylight activity. They transition through on their way to the agricultural fields at night, and hopefully I can pick them off as they do that. And I think the other positive is going to be, because it's small, because it's 250 yards from where they want to be at night in those ag fields eating soybeans, that this is going to be perfect. They'll move through it. I won't have to worry about spooking them out. Lots of deer trails going right up in there. And I think this is going to be a great spot. So what a great spot back here, about 200 yards off that potential food plot. You got some beautiful big white pine. You've got a lot of oak regeneration that looks like it's about 20 years old. Lots of tracks. You got squirrel tracks in here, several deer trails. Been following them. One deer trail goes that way. One deer trail goes this way. We'll see where they go. But boy, is this a great bedding area. Getting into some just absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Look at that forest back there. Is that pretty or what? Really cool snow coming down here. Boy, what I like about this is this edge. This edge to where this regen of oak. Got a bunch of white pine coming up. You got some very mature, beautiful red pine. That's pole timber. I don't know what that is across. That's a good 14 inches across. Never been back here on the property. Definitely great bedding area and sanctuary. All right, I'm gonna follow the deer trail now into that area where all the ash trees died. So they bed up where we were. I'm walking down this hill. So I'm guessing those mature bucks, they sleep back there. There's no way I'm getting in here with the stand without scaring everything away, so I'm not even going to try. Oh, here's a beautiful deer trail. Runs that way, right along the ridge line here, about, 3/4 the way down. It's kind of, I don't know if I'd call it a bench, but it's a trail that's been worn in over all the years here. If I was a big old mature buck, I'd lay in here till dark. Then I'd head out to the agricultural fields. And I'd definitely be back in here before it got light. Little sunlight's getting to the ground. Nice browse. A lot of hazel. This property's got a ton of hazel, which is really cool to see. It's got a ton of white spruce, a ton of white pine, red pine plantations, a lot of mature oak forest, 25 acres of oak savanna, 2 beautiful ponds probably. One of them's 3 acre, the other one's an acre, and then about an 8-acre lake. This has got to be just a super area. This drops off a good 100 feet. I know it's hard for you to tell, but it's a 100-foot drop there. You can walk down it. It's not horribly steep. But this ridge runs the whole property from north, which is that way, and I'll spin the camera fast, to south, which is this way. All right, I've made my way into that area where all of the ash trees died. If you look up here, maybe you can see where the emerald ash borer did its dirty work. We'll pass a couple of these ash trees walking in here. I'm on a deer trail right now. I think this is going to be a great area to do some bedding work. Open this up just a little bit so they can get in here a little bit easier, but not too much. Give them some beds, make some beds, and then stay out of here, because that food plot that I'm thinking about is about 150 yards that way. All right, let's take a look. All right, ash tree. See those little holes? That is the emerald ash borer doing his work. And he did not bore into the tree. They go into the tree when they're small, they get big, and then they come out. So that's their exit hole. So that's kind of interesting. Boy, look at that giant maple. Giant maple. It's all that's living in here now. So tons of sunlight getting to the ground. A lot of stuff starting to come up. I don't see too many invasives. A little bit of autumn olive. Tough to see how these ash trees died. Didn't know that they were all in here like this. We chopped down a lot of them, but didn't get to these. So unfortunately they died. All right, here's a cool example of a vine. Must be a little over an inch in size, comes out of the ground, usually right next to some trees that it likes to climb. These work perfect for those box scrapes where you have a lick branch. They love these. That's perfect size. I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on how much I can pull down. I might be able to get 5 or 6 lick branches out of this one, so I'll put this one in my memory. Oh, more good news. Look at that. There's another one on the other side. All right, so about an hour has gone by. I'm back where I think I'm going to put the little food plot. What I've determined is the deer all bed back there. Beautiful and thick. Lots of food. Bur oak, white oak. Lots of oak regeneration. Thick. So I know they're back there. They come out straight ahead. They come out to the left a little bit. They also come out to the right. And that brush pile right there has really forced them to come to the left or right. So what I'm thinking is this is potentially both a morning stand and a night stand. And the reason I say that is the agricultural field is a good 250, maybe more, 350, 400 yards that way. Little transition area with a little bit of food, a little bit of open. They move through this in daylight, right before they go out to the agricultural fields at night. And then if I get out here early enough, this could be a morning stand too, because they're going to come back out of those fields, back here to bedding. And I think I'm going to set up right in one of these oak trees, because I'm right in the middle. There's two significant trails, 20 to 30 yards that way. There's two trails that come out there. They walk right through this open and down through there. So now what I've got to think about is, I don't know if I want to open this up that much. If I open it way up, sure, the does and the young bucks are going to have no problem coming through here. But if I open it up too much, I don't know if the big bucks are going to feel safe. Maybe that's okay, because the young ones will kind of come through the open where it's easier. And they'll pass through this open area, right past where I'll be sitting straight ahead in one of those oaks. And then there's a really thick trail about 25 yards that way. I got a perfect shot down there, and that's where the bucks could come through.